Good morning, teacher Mr. Eduardo Gonzalez. How are you? I'm your student from pre-professional internship number 2. I'm glad to make this fifth video. I really enjoy explaining how I create my lesson plan number 15. Okay, let's start with the informative data. The theme or topic for this class is the relative clauses for second grade or baccalaureate, designing for 45 minutes, and the proficiency level is B1.1. The second step that I will go is for the objectives. The students will be able to identify and follow instructions, accurately name the relative clauses, and recognize relative clauses in text. For the writing goals, they also will construct sentences using relative clauses. The methodology that I will use to accomplish these goals, I will use two methods: the communicative language teaching and the grammar translation. The strategies, they will be working with by individual, in pairs, and in the whole class. The fourth step of the class is the anticipatory set. Online, the teacher will introduce the student the topic of using related classes by asking few questions such: how would you describe a blue-collar worker? What is full-time work? Who is a consultant? What is a computer lab? This question should elicit a number of responses, hopefully a few with component use of related classes. Make sure to rephrase the student's answer through using related classes to help inductively introduce the idea of relative clause use. This is an example. Full-time work is a time of work which takes place for at least 40 hours a week. Yes, a consultant is someone who provides service and advice to a company on a contractual basis, etc. For the main teaching input, this is the 5 step. I create a activity for a warm-up to leave the stress out. The teacher uses features themes of famous people. Then students have to describe one of these themes of people to their group using related classes. The other people need to guess who or what it is. Once the teacher has completed this warm-up, write 4 sentences on the board. Use one sentence with relative classes, referring a person with that or one with who. The other 2 sentences should refer to things, one beginning with that and the other with which. Then the teacher asks students to point out this difference and explain why, which, or who is used as well as one, as far as possible. Try to coach the students into inductive state in the rules for relative clause use. And now I will work in a group of 3 guys, 3 persons, 3 students, 3 learners. In a group of 3 members, the students have to complete the sentences in their exercise poses and exes that go together and connected with each with a relative pronoun, who, which, or what. At the end of the activity, both teacher and students, I mean the students and me, will check all the answers as a class, as a group. The 6th step is the modeling. Here the teacher writes on the board a big question. What is a relative clause? So we can use the relative clause to join 2 English sentences or to give more information about something. For example, I bought a new car. is very fast. The sentences will be like this. I bought a car that is very fast. You see how it's connected to sentence. Another example, she lives in New York, she likes living in New York. So how we connect it? Let's see how we do it. The sentences will like this. She lives in New York, which she likes. You see the difference? These are relative clause. A defining relative clause tells which noun we are talking about. For example, I like the woman who lives next door. If I don't say who lives next door, then we don't know which woman I mean. Could be any woman, any girl, any person. Now the unknown defining relative clause gives extra information about something. You see, pay attention to this. This is extra information about something. We, for example, and here we don't need this information to understand the sentence. For example, I live in London, which has some fantastic parks. Everyone knows where London is, so which has some fantastic parks is extra information. Alright? Now, my students, let's get ready with the great practice. Here, the teacher asks students to work in pairs. And to work in pairs, they can just turn around and work with the guy who is behind you or next to them. For example, student A made the first sentence, then the second student will complete the sentences by forming a relative clause. That's very easy. Now, the A independent practice. Independent practice is because they already have the modeling, they have the right practice, and my students, my learners need to practice by themselves. All these activities are related to succeeding and progress with my goals, with my objectives. That's very important. You see, we're going driving them through to the goals. For the independent practice, they have to complete the sentence with the relative pronouns from the box. We will see the exercise, the sheet later. Let me make a zoom of my screen. Okay. Okay, we are here, independent practice. Now, the assessment. Now the assessment, sometimes the students have a little afraid when they hear assessment or work, because they say, oh, I will get I will be score is evaluation, but no, it's exercise. It is good for them. The assessment, they have to fill in blank. There are many exercises, but I choose this to fill in blank because they have to think of many answers, you know. So they have to use the relative pronouns in the back to complete the sentences. Okay, just show me why they learn. They got a patient to my class. And finally, the 10th step is the closing review and follow up. As the word say, closing review, I have to see how was the class, what is the positive aspect, negative aspect, if they have problems, what they like more, what they don't like, and I have to evaluate their feelings if they learn. So here, both student teacher, me and the students, we will check answers by having volunteers to read each sentences, and I will encourage them to use the appropriate pronunciation and intonation to make that, because it's very important. Remember that I have working with the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now the supplementary material that I use for my class number 15, I like worksheets so much. So I use worksheets to help my students in the practice after they learn relative clause. Look at this worksheet here. They just have to put the name and date, and it's a grammar quiz related to relative clause. You see, we have to put emphasis on this topic. It's a very easy exercise. They have to complete 16 sentences to score your knowledge, to score my learner's knowledge. For example, the first question say, I know a great little restaurant. We can get lunch. See, so they have to choose one of these. That, maybe the A, that, maybe the B, who, or where. See? The second, Sam knows a man. Brother works for the president. Okay, a man. So which one would be the correct one? Who, whose, one. And they continue like that. You can see all 16 questions. Now we have another worksheet to practice their relative clauses. Worksheet 1, relative pronouns. Use their relative pronouns in the box to complete the sentences below. They have all here. We have all these options: whom, that, which, where, when, and whose. You see? For example, the doctor examined the child was very gentle, and the student have to choose one of these. See? We have 18 questions. You see, the last question. This is the longest question. The voters were overwhelmingly against the candidate proposal called for higher taxes. They have to choose one of them. That is my working material. And this grammar retrieved from, this is the website that I use, and that was my English class number 15. That was used to create my fifth video, and you will be able to watch on my YouTube channel. This video is a public video. Okay, that's all I learned today. And if I don't see you again, teacher, I want to thank you for all your support, for all your help, for all your knowledge that you share with the students. I really appreciate took this career. I always like English, and I'm happy to make this video in this career. And thank you so much, teacher. I really appreciate and enjoy. I learned so much doing these lesson plans. Thank you very much.